Erica did ask me to come in and do a class about prepping for the interview. So it's a course primarily helping you prepare for getting back into the marketplace is what the class is all about. I've got a couple of slides here introducing myself. My name is Dion Rashad. I am the owner of KDMJ Solutions. It's a company that basically provides project management, training, as well as professional coaching. So this fell right into the parameters of everything that we do. So we can actually customize any type of coaching and training that's needed from a corporate or a government perspective. And again, just the objective of the course is just to come out and just kind of help you guys get ready. We've got some simulations and everything that we're going to do today. We'll take time to answer any questions that you have, like some of the interview questions, that you may stumble upon, that you may have a difficult time answering. Explaining the gap between, I worked back in 2020, but it's 2024. I'm getting back into the market and people may ask you for the gap. We just got in and we just started talking about, this is just a class that's going to help you as far as getting ready for the next interview that you have. It's going to help you explain the gaps that you may have in your unemployment, things of that nature. We're going to have time to do simulations where we do role play, where I pretend like I call you, I'm doing the interview. We're going to go over salary requirements and things of that nature, just to kind of get you a little bit more comfortable with being able to jump back into the market. All right, the first slide that I want to really talk about is just the current trends. So the current trend, you normally see a lot of AI, automation, virtual jobs, those type of things. Those are some of the things which you just kind of want to prepare yourself for. Any questions on any of the AI, remote work, or even the contractor or permanent positions? Any questions on any of that?
How do you know who to trust with the remote work?
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, I've been racking my little old brain trying to figure it out.
Okay, so learning how to trust. When you look at your larger companies, and I'm talking like maybe your Bank of Americas, your Citi, your Mr. Coopers, just a variety of different companies, when they allow you to work from home, a lot of times, I would trust a larger company when it comes to remote work, because your larger companies are going to set you up completely to where you can work from home. They're sending you the laptop. A lot of times they're sending you the monitor and all of the equipment that you need. Now, when you say trust someone, what I would not do and what I would not recommend is if someone's asking you to pay for equipment or they're asking you to do things that you normally wouldn't do for a job. You shouldn't have to come out of pocket for anything if an organization or a company is getting ready to hire you. So if someone's telling you that, there was a young man that I was coaching and working with, and he had applied for a job, but before taking the job, they wanted him to pay $600. I said, no, sir. Tell them that you decline and that you're not going to take the offer. When you walk in someone's door, you are working remotely for a company, you shouldn't be out of pocket anything. So that's who you trust. The people who aren't asking you for anything is who I would trust. But if you're not sure, I would go with major companies.
My granddaughter was working for Verizon and they kept sending her broken down equipment.
Well, that happens too. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they don't have.
She was not able to work for a while.
Yeah. Sometimes they send out equipment that's gently used. Yes, ma'am.
Well, I had an experience. I'm getting back into the workforce, and hired me, and I was so excited about everything, and so I did go get a new computer, but they didn't ask me to do it. However, they did not supply me with the headphones, and they told me I had to get the Ethernet. And so the first day of training, I was, they were like, you need to do this, and I was going, but they were really helpful. But when it came to that Ethernet, I couldn't get onto their system because I didn't know I had to have a USB and the other one to plug in.
Yeah.
So they
Yeah.
let me go because they said that I did not have the appropriate equipment. And I was like, wow, it was a part-time job, but I was still excited about it. And so I was like, but you didn't say I had to get the
Yeah.
USB.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but I was out of the USB, not the USB, but the Ethernet, because I ordered it from Amazon. Then they had required a headset, and so I was out of some money. They didn't tell me to get the computer.
Right.
But,
Right.
and that's a reputable company.
It is a reputable
Yeah,
company.
and they had me getting all that stuff, and then they fired
You know,
me.
one of the things in which I'm going to recommend, especially if you're going to work remotely, let them know that you are not completely tech savvy when it comes to setting up the equipment. And if they can actually sit down and walk you step by step, not only as to what you need, but also what they're going to supply, and then also have tech support on the phone with you as you begin to set it up to make sure that you have everything that you actually need. Yeah. Yeah, that's
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. I've had so many experiences going back into the workforce. This young lady hurt me. That's why I'm in this class, because they told me about that you all were having that. I'm going back into the workforce, and I'm a nurse by profession, and I have worked from home
okay.
on several occasions. Well, I worked for Superior, and I have had, I think, 4 jobs within the last probably 4 months, where they, and I said, I'm not doing something right.
Okay.
And I think it's, I explained to them the other day, earlier, I had to set up, I had 3 computer screens, and I had never done that before. So they were trying to walk me through it, this particular company, Bluefish Medical, and she just got, and I had to go on YouTube to find out how just to set up, and and then they took me through, before they hired me, they actually was asking me to do stuff on the computer.
Yeah, a lot of companies
and I was
will.
doing it, and then when I got with them, all of a sudden they were saying, "Oh, it seemed like you're struggling." Well, my air conditioning did go out, and so I was hot trying to work. But they kind of like told me, "Okay," and basically I had done the job before, but I think when I didn't know how to put those screens up
Together.
they kind of like put their bunny ears up about it. But
Okay.
that's why I'm in the class too.
Well-
See what I'm doing, that because just a quick synopsis of my story. I've had breast cancer. I'm a survivor, and I'm going back into the workforce. And
Okay.
it's just been like
It's different. It has changed. I will tell you that it has changed.
Yes.
It continues to change.
yeah, and I'm okay with
It continues to change, and the level of patience, if I may use that word, the level of patience sometimes has also changed. With the people that are on the tech side and things of that nature, and sometimes just being able to explain to them where you currently stand and the level of assistance that you're going to need is going to be able to help them get you what you need. Yes, ma'am.
Should be a generation too. Like
It is.
generational,
It is. It is. It
It's
is.
just like we're all intelligent. I mean, we actually had to use our brain.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now all you have to do is write me a 5-minute speech on how to meditate.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Yeah. No
don't
one.
worry about that.
Yeah. It has changed, and my fear is that it may continue this same pattern. So if it does continue this same pattern, what we have to do is identify how can I still get what I need when, the other end is going to be short with me. So, sometimes it's just a conversation that you have with people to let them know, okay, this is currently where I am. and this is where I'm going. They will, and they, meaning companies, will come in and have you to test your equipment, because what they're wanting to do is make sure that with that Ethernet cord that you have a strong connection and that connection maintains, so that as you're doing the work in which you've been assigned, there's not a disconnect, right? Yeah. Plus you have people who do remote work or sign up for remote work, but they're really not working. So, they're kind of looking at that as well. It happens.
It does.
It happens. And so, when you have a connection issue or you have a problem, immediately their ears are going to go up, because you have some that are not performing like they should. I'm trying to use my good words this morning.
I work at Superior. I will be just doing my work, and the younger, well, I'm not going to say younger, but some of the ladies, they would be at the grocery store, and I was like,
Yeah.
"You're at the grocery store, you're supposed to be working."
Yeah, that's the reason why. That's the reason why. So that's why you get the pushback in which you do. Now, when you look at contract versus permanent, some people have a tendency to run away from contract positions. I never did, because a contract position gave me more control, the way in which I looked at it, because I'm only with you for a period of time, and then I can also determine at the end of that time period if I want to stay with you or not. Yes, ma'am.
Did they change the, I see there's new terminology too, that I must try to understand, because you're using contract, and I used to do temporary. Is that the
Same thing. Same thing. Same thing.
So
Same
I didn't
thing.
know what, I was asking my granddaughter, what in the world is contract?
And I'm gonna tell y'all now, as I go through these slides and as I go through this material, if there's anything that you don't understand, or if there's anything you want me to break down, don't hesitate to ask. There's not a question that, like, oh my gosh, I don't want to. Yes, please ask that question, because what I don't want you to do is walk out the door and not understand something, because that could be the dot that needs to be connected in order for you to succeed, right? So yes, ma'am, it's the same thing. You have contract companies that'll pay you weekly, some will pay you bi-weekly, some even offer benefits. So, sometimes I tell people, don't turn your eye away from a contract opportunity, because
I actually like
I love them.
temporary services, contract services.
Yeah, because you get a chance to kind of go in. Yeah, and then you go in and you evaluate them as well, because you're interviewing them just as much as they're interviewing you. We have to remember that.
I haven't done it for years, so.
Oh, you getting ready to though. On the hiring practices, you definitely want to highlight any of your experiences. You want to look at the position that you're applying for, and if you have not had that title before, then what you want to do is be able to talk to your transferable skills. They may say, you have to deal with customers. Well, you may not have dealt directly with customers, but you may not have dealt with external customers, but you have internal customers that you've dealt with, the people that you work with. A customer is a customer, whether they're internal or external, and just being able to explain that is a good way of doing it. Implement structured interviews. Look at the various types of interviews that are out there, because sometimes they'll come in and just ask you questions. And then sometimes they'll ask you questions and they want the answers a certain way, like the STAR method. They want you to tell the situation, what happened. They want you to talk about the task, right? And then they want you to talk about your action and the results. And sometimes that takes practice, right? Because if they say, well, this is a behavior type interview, they want to see how you responded based upon the situation that happens, right?
Can you repeat that? You said it's usually a step by step. So what's the step again?
The STAR, there's a STAR type of interview, STAR, which is your situation, your task.
What do you mean situation?
So they'll ask you, tell me about a time in which you had a customer that went ballistic, but answer it from a STAR perspective.
But what I want to say to you is, what if you don't have a lot of work experience?
Okay.
In a company, maybe you've done like volunteer work.
Use the volunteer work.
Okay, but you haven't had a lot of work experience.
Use the volunteer.
Homemaker all your life.
Okay, so as being a homemaker, That's still your
Not to
work.
them.
Well, to your work, it is. It can be. And the way in which I would explain that is that a vast majority of my experience has been from homemaking. I've been a homemaker because that is a career. Most of my career, I've been a homemaker. Or most of my career, I've done
They won't
volunteering.
laugh me out of there.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. Because the thing of it is, everybody's experience and how they gain their experience is different. Some people gain it in corporate, some gain it via volunteering, and some gain it as a homemaker. Don't downplay what you've done previously.
I know others do.
No.
From experience.
Yeah. And no, and don't.
I don't, but
No.
some people do.
No, and the thing of it is that, and when someone, I'm gonna give you an example how to handle it too, but when they ask you a question, like how do you handle a difficult customer, and you're looking back and thinking back, how did I do that? Traditionally, I've been a homemaker. So my experience and my examples are going to be from that.
But during my temp services, I did have an issue with someone that I did.
Then explain that. Then explain that.
Go back, way back yonder.
I wouldn't even tell them it's way back yonder.
Oh, okay.
I would just say, back when I was a temp, this is what happened. So this is the situation. The customer came in screaming at me because she wanted to return an item that she had worn. That's the situation, right? The task. What I did, the task that I did, is I called the manager to assist because I wanted the manager to back me up with the company's policy, right? That's your task.
I just remember being nicer to her than she was to me.
Oh, and of course, the action that I took, I made sure that the customer was treated well, even in the process. When someone's in your face and they're yelling at you, that's fine. Doesn't mean I have to do the same thing. At the end of the day, because the manager and I talked to this customer, we were able to explain to her that, she was unable to return the garment, This is how it ended. So now you've given them the situation, you gave them the task,
She was actually trying to pay for a bunch of men clothing in the jewelry department.
and you can't do that.
Right.
You can't do that. So just being able to look at it and think of it like that and explain it that way, because now you have an example.
So she's on her lunch hour and I had to hurry up.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. No,
I
ma'am.
get right after this customer.
So, and that's how it happens. But just being able to sit down and kind of think through some of those, and we can go through some of those and play with some of those to be able to help answer them when you actually do the interview.
Really crazy people out there.
It's some wild people. It's some wild
I say
people.
crazy.
Oh. He's recording me, so I have to say wild. You will be blurred out. You'll be blurred out. You'll be blurred out. Volume and everything. But the thing of it is that with the way in which everything is set up now, before, and I'm telling my age at this time too, you walk in and they'd have a help wanted sign, or you could actually go into the company and say, hey, I'm looking for a job. You remember those days? Well, now those days, right? Those days are gone. So,
Get the job.
and would get the job. But now you have to do it.
You go online.
Exactly. You look at the corporate site, you look at Indeed.
Want to talk to you.
No. And you don't, and you have to, like I said, you have to be aware of scams. Because like I said, if they're requesting money up front, no ma'am, no ham, right? Right? No, we're not doing that. That we're not doing. So one of the first steps that we have to do is update your resume, right? And when you update your resume, the items that you want to remove that people no longer put on their resume is like their physical address. So you'll put your name, your email address, and your phone number, right? You can put an objective.
You said, there it goes.
Oh, okay. Put your name,
Email address.
your email address, and your phone number. Yeah. Now, I do talk fast. I get excited about what I'm talking about. So if I need to repeat something, please let me know because I don't mind doing it.
So name, address, name, email, and
Phone number.
Yeah, a young girl told me that. No. Thank you.
Well, just for your own protection too, right?
Yeah.
Just for your own protection. And you want to have an objective on there. You want to have an objective. and describing the various skills, that you have underneath. Now, do y'all mind if I give y'all a cheat code on these job skills? Okay. So on the job skills, if you're not sure how to explain the job that you previously had or the job that you previously did, what you want to do, go out there on Indeed or Glassdoor or, go and find a job that's similar to it. It's going to tell you what they're looking for, which is going to say what you did. You're going to change up the wording a little bit, but it still shows, hey, I've done a job similar to this.
I did that.
Yeah, which is great. Double check your spelling and punctuality. I've been in rooms where we've interviewed people, and believe it or not, if a person started out using periods and they didn't use periods the rest of the way, someone in the room had a comment. I'm like, who cares if they use periods all the way through or not? Can they do the job? I'll give you a pass on that because sometimes your resume can easily be 2 pages. But sometimes some people don't, right? And definitely make sure that your resume or your cover letter speaks to the skills that the position's asking for.
Let me ask this. Like I told you, I've had several jobs within the last couple of months. I don't do a cover letter.
Okay.
But the jobs that I really want, I don't apply for because they want a cover letter.
Okay, so let's talk about that. Let's talk about that because that goes into the next point that I have. The next point that I have is using ChatGPT. ChatGPT is an AI tool. It's chat, C-H-A-T, G as in girl, P as in Paul, T as in Tom. Now, a lot of people will tell you don't use ChatGPT, blah, 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 blah. Don't use ChatGPT exactly. Don't copy it and paste it. But what you will do, it's gonna, well, you are, because once you go in and you say, hey, what I have done and what I've seen people do in the past is take ChatGPT, take the job position, copy it and paste it into ChatGPT and ask it, can you write me or provide a cover letter for this particular job? Now what ChatGPT is gonna do is gonna look at what you don't put in there for that job and it's gonna produce a letter. It's gonna even produce it in a letter format. It's gonna give you ideas as to how you can explain your own skills in it. So you're not using it completely, but it's sparking some ideas in your mind on how you need to use it. The same thing with your resume. If you put your resume in there and say, hey, can you modify this resume toward a customer service position? It'll spit you out a whole new resume, is what it will do. And it will do it, when I tell you, in seconds. Seconds. Not even in a minute. But what it will do is give you some ideas as to how can I better explain what I do. So now what you do is take what you just got from ChatGPT and you change it, not exactly the same, but you go in there and you say, oh, now I know how to explain this a little bit better. Now let me put that I did this. Now I can explain. And then what it also does, as you're updating your resume and you're making these changes, now it's also giving you better information on how to answer some of these questions and explain your skill when you sit in an interview. Right? That's exactly what it does. Yes, ma'am. Is it a free service? Yes, ma'am. You can upgrade it. I've upgraded mine. But it is free. You'll have to create a username and a login, but yes, ma'am, it's free.
I did Indeed.com and they, I don't think it was so good.
Okay.
So I didn't think it was good.
They updated your resume?
Well, they said they told me 2 things I needed to do on it, and that was it. But that's the next thing is that
Now,
the AI stuff.
okay, so let me tell you one more thing that I really want you to do with AI when you do it. I want you to take the job position. I want you to put it into ChatGPT. and ask ChatGPT to give you all the keywords for the position. Keywords. Because now how everything has changed, when you submit your resume online, if you don't have a lot of these keywords on your resume, it's going to spit it out and put it to the side, right? So when you ask ChatGPT, and they're going to give you a list of those keywords, now you just want to make sure your resume has it, right? And if you're applying for the same type of jobs, kind of within the same field, you shouldn't have to really change your resume that often, right? But if you're going from one position to something totally different, you may have to change it on a regular basis. Questions about AI?
Well, they do have too. They'll say, do you, on some of those jobs, they'll say, do you want your job to go through AI, or do you want somebody, I think, manually to do it?
I would prefer manually all day long, but I hadn't seen that one. But that's wild. Yes,
saw
ma'am.
that,
I'm very upset because where was remote back in the late 80s
Girl.
when we were raising
Don't even say it. Look,
talk back 30 years ago.
remote is beautiful.
Where was AI when we were doing our own cover line?
Remote was beautiful. Yeah, that part. Yeah, that part.
So I don't know what's
Yeah, I'm a little salty too. I call it salty. I'm a little salty too.
I'm not that savvy. Oh, I am once that savvy.
Oh, yes. Oh, of
It's
course.
slow in the beginning, but you better watch out.
Here I come. Here I come.
Oh, well, I'm going to say this about AI. I let this company do AI with me. And the lady kept calling me for an interview. And so that last time, matter of fact, it was the third time. I'm no longer working with them. But she said, I said, you know what, you keep calling me about this job. I said, I've applied for it 3 times, but it seems like I can't get to that next step. And so she was like, oh, let me just see. So she goes and she said, well, I think you asked me for too much money. And I said, well, I'm real flexible. I can, come down. And I see this about knowing your worth.
Oh, yeah, I got all that. Yeah.
Well, I went down, and that's the one who we went through the thing about. She asked me questions, and I was doing the computer. But after I'm being honest with you, I think forced their hand to hire me, and because I'm no longer working with them. But I was thinking that's why the question was AI, because they were putting their things through AI, and she called me 3 times, but I never did get to that till I finally just asked her.
Yeah, you have to ask.
Why aren't you all hiring me? And then I got an interview. So that's why I was asking, should you let it go through AI or manual?
If you're asking me personally, I like the manual because I want someone's eyes looking at it, because a person who's looking at it is going to think more about it. AI is just going to check the box.
Okay.
So it just depends on which you want to. Now, if you have everything in line for the boxes to be checked, go AI. But if you want someone to really sit down and think about you on an individual basis, then I would go have someone to look at it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's definitely what I do. Now, the next thing I want to talk about are the gaps. How do we explain these gaps? What are the gaps, right? How long, if you don't mind me asking, how long?
Since I had a real, back in the 90s.
Okay. Everything else has been kind of contract between there?
Yeah, it's
Attempt.
pretty much contract.
Okay, not a problem.
My kids were came first.
Yours are easy because it is. And I'm going to say it's easy because contracting or temp work, they only want you in there for a period of time, right? And
That's all I want to be in there for now.
exactly. And so the way in which you explain your contract, because people understand, and I say people, meaning these companies understand that if you have contract work, they know that that's not a long-term permanent position, right? So that piece of it, they should fundamentally understand. So once they understand that piece, then what you explain is that I had this contract position. It ended whenever it ended. I decided to step away for a little bit. Now I'm ready to get back into the workforce. You don't have to explain what you stepped away for. That's personal and confidential information. If anybody starts asking you to go into detail, then they're in violation. Can't ask you what you did.
So that's
So-
against the law?
Well, you
Are there
can't.
ways around it? 'Cause
People, some people will ask. Some people will ask. But when I respond, or when I've responded in the past, is that, it's a personal reason as to why I stepped away. I don't have to give you my personal reason. At that point, I'm drawing the line with you. That's really what I'm doing.
And then they turn around and draw a line with me and not hire me.
Well, and the thing of it is, you have to also look at, and I'm going to be completely honest with you guys when I say this. If they turn you away, is that really where you wanted to be in the first place?
Absolutely not.
Sometimes the closed door is the right door.
Yes, exactly. That's what I actually did with the last company, because they did do me that way. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I wanted the job because it was remote. I started going into my illness,
No.
knowing that I had my breast cancer.
No.
And after I did that, I was like, I should
No,
have never.
no, I would never. That would be a pearl that I would keep very close to my chest, because it's not for them to know.
And then they don't want to hear that.
They don't want to, because then they're going to ask themselves, well, is she going to have to go to the doctor? Is she going to be here? If we need her to do extended hours, is this going to be? It opens up a whole.
I've actually seen, I won't say the company, you guys know the company, but I've seen them fire someone that's been very loyal to them for over 20 years. When they got sick with cancer,
Yeah.
they let them go.
So there's ways in which you can go around it. There was a young man that took off to take care of his parent, right? How do you explain that, right? I ended up getting laid off, and I had to, in this case, he went ahead and used the example. I went ahead and I cared for a parent. Parent's great now, got someone else to help out with that, so I'm ready to jump back into the workforce. Not only does it address the gap, it addressed the situation, but it also showed this is not going to be a problem in the future because it's already been handled. So you have to be able to answer that piece of it too.
But don't they understand emergencies come up?
They understand, but sometimes you just don't have the level of compassion that should be there. And look at that honestly. I can't stress to you enough. I get wanting to get back into the workplace. I get wanting to have a job. But most importantly, you don't want to step out of the frying pan into the fire.
I attempted to go back into what I used to do when I, when I had my kids at home. I used to take care of other people's children. And now you can't even do that because you got to have a big, specific degree
Yeah.
in order to babysit. Yeah.
And certifications and things of that nature. I love certification.
I understand the certification, but they want that degree too.
Yeah, they
And
do.
it's got to be a specific degree.
Depending upon
Not
where it
just
is.
any degree.
Yeah, depending upon where it is. Any questions on gaps, AI, resumes?
So we basically said personal reasons why I was stepped away. So you can give, just basically, if they start asking me, why you weren't working for 3.5 years?
Oh, look, girl. You see me immediately go into it. Hold on, let me answer her question. So ask me the question again.
Okay, I see this gap in your resume. Why haven't you worked in 3.5 years?
After I left XYZ, I decided to just take, some time off. I just, for personal reasons, I just took some time off.
Okay.
But now I'm ready to get back into the workforce. And say it with a smile.
Okay.
No, and you just that's just how you answer, and you just, yeah. And just cut it off. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I've been out of the workforce. I retired from the job, so I've been out of the workforce for 5 years. And I've been enjoying, retirement, but now I think I'm the type of person that I'm very structured. I really have to have a schedule. And right now, my daughter's about to have a baby in December, so I do not want to commit to anything. However, though, she lives in another state. We're here. I don't think I'm going to be going back and forth, or she's going to be needing me, because they're pretty independent. So I'm thinking maybe by the spring of next year. So that's why I wanted to come to this class. How do I explain my situation?
Oh, you have a great situation. Your situation, I'm returning back to work. Your ideal, do you mind me being completely honest with you? Okay, your ideal position is remote.
My what?
Your ideal position will be remote. And I say that because even if you take on a position now and your daughter has the baby and you want to visit your daughter, remote doesn't care where you are. Remote just cares about you logging in. So you have an ideal situation. Oh, I retired. I enjoyed my retirement, but now I realize, you know what? I need to go back into the workforce. So I'm ready to work. I'm ready to come back into the workforce. Your example is perfect. You don't have to go into your daughter having a baby and blah, 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 blah.
Well, right now,
I mean, I'm just saying to you. Oh, I retired. I did X amount of time at such and such. And
I enjoyed that time.
Yeah.
For me, that it's like, okay, I can't
Yeah.
go to the mall every day. I can't be doing this. So now I'm like, you know what, let's start incorporating. And then comes the problem, oh, you're not tech savvy. It's like, you're right, because the computer system that my job used was like very old, ancient.
I got an answer for that too. So the funny part, the way in which I would answer yours is, why are you coming back into the workforce? You haven't worked in 5 years, right? Oh, well, I retired from XYZ, and I've been enjoying my retirement. But it's so funny. When people say you retire and you're ready to come back to work, that is so true. So I'm ready to get back into the workforce. Now, when they talk to you about technology and you may think that you're behind, the best answer to say on that is, have you worked in this system? Have you worked in that system? No, I haven't worked in it, but I'm a quick learner and I know how to work in various systems. So it wouldn't be a problem for me. Erica, why can't I get it to come on? Guess I had to walk backwards. I had to do the dance and walk backwards. And then what I would explain to them is that for the technology piece, I can learn it doesn't take me long. I'm a fast learner, so I don't think that's going to be a problem. And then what you do on the back end, you go to YouTube. No, I'm serious because YouTube is going to give you what you need. But do you see how you address the time period, you address the gap? But I'm telling you up front, your best opportunity is going to be remote.
And I have been looking, I was looking at Southwest, I think at the beginning of the year, and they were offering remote, but then all of a sudden Southwest went through a change, and I'm like, okay, maybe this is God saying, no, you're not ready yet.
Okay.
Do they still train you when you go to, once they hire you?
Most companies do. Most companies do have a training, and then they have it online. Yeah, remote. Remote is ideal. And since you said prayer, if you don't mind me going there with you, is pray about the opportunity that you're getting ready to walk in. I mean, I'm not trying to be funny, but I'm going to be real with you. I'm going to be 100 with you on that. If you pray over the opportunity that you're applying for, my prayer would be this. When you are filling out your application and before you hit submit, the prayer is, God, if this is the place where you would have me to be, open the door. If it's not, close it. But I'm being honest with you, because the thing of it is that back in the day when I would be laid off or what have you, I was never laid off no more than 2 months. And that was my prayer every time I applied for a job, and only one job came to me each time I did that. And that was the door that I was supposed to walk in. Everything is time and season. Everything is time and season. So you move in the time and the season that you're supposed to move in, right?
Well, speaking about season,
Yes, ma'am.
what if you're really old? Are you going to talk to anything about that in age?
Don't. No. I don't have to tell.
I face that kind of stuff.
My thing of it is that don't nobody have to know how old you are unless you tell them. And if they're asking you how old they are, they should not be asking you that question.
But on applications, they ask you for your birthday.
I don't put that. I have.
And then they
I don't even answer that one.
But
They
sometimes you
refer to
can't
you.
go beyond because it'll say you're missing this link or you're filling the box.
Is the year actually, it depends upon the application that you fill out, because I put in, when I did applications, I would put in my degrees. I wouldn't even put the year that I got my degree. And then I wouldn't even put my high school. I don't have on my resume, I don't even have my high school education on my resume. I have my degrees, but I don't have the year. Why do you need the year? You just need to know if I got it. And most jobs aren't even going to ask you for an actual copy of your degree and stuff like that unless you're going like into the educational field, where they need to verify that you have your master's or you have, where they need to verify those type of things. Other than that, no ma'am.
Because I applied for some positions with Dallas County, and on their application, the T whatever, Texas municipal whatever, they ask you, I think, for your birthday, your social security number.
The state's going to be different though. The state's going to be different.
Can I add to that too, just to kind of help us change our thought process? Because when it comes to the ageism that we experience either prior to getting the job, on the job, another thing to think about it is from a data point of view too, because a lot of companies want to diversify
Exactly.
their agency. So yes, they may ask you your race, they may ask you, are you disabled? They may ask you all these things up front because they want to diversify. They want to have a intergenerational team. So if they see somebody who was born in the 70s, 60s, 50s, whatever, that could be a great thing for them because they're like, I want older adults on my team. Why? Because I know that they're going to be dependable. They have a work ethic my team is lacking. Like, there's a lot of positivity on the other side when you think of ageism. Another thing is changing our thought process when we go into the interview. I think sometimes we take our own preconceived biases into that interview.
And don't.
And that can stop us before we even got somewhere because we tripped over our own assumption of what we think
true.
that they think about us.
It's true.
Another thing I wanted to address about the tech savvy thing. I don't know, you're the expert, but I know when I talk to some of my clients, if they ask you about technology, tell them what you can, what you've done, what you're willing to do. But I even say don't use the words, I'm not tech savvy.
Yeah.
Because that's labeling you. And
Yeah.
you're already telling them what you can't do or what
Yeah.
you won't do or what you haven't done. And if you know that you're willing to learn, that's all you need to go in there and say. Don't say I'm not tech savvy. You may think it, don't say it to the interviewer.
Yeah.
And another thing to think about when it comes to AI, I know that with your generation, there are some technological things that maybe you weren't a part of, but when it comes to AI, we're all learning together. I mean, I'm a 30-something-year-old woman, and it wasn't until Ignacio was forcing me to use ChatGPT and Gemini because I avoided it because I'm like, I want to do what I'm doing. I ain't got time to learn. So think about it from that standpoint. Like, you may feel uncomfortable with AI, but we're all learning together. And then
That AI, because the AI the AI gets your mind going.
it does.
It really does. It gets you to think of different ways of explaining yourself that you hadn't even thought about.
AI has been
And it
around a long.
helps you, and let me go back to an old phrase, learn not to plagiarize. So,
Yeah.
no, you're right about
Yeah.
being open to AI, and
Yeah, just be open to it.
It's new. It's new for the teenager.
Actually, AI has been around for many years. When I was in the military back in the 70s, they were talking about AI. Early 70s.
It just keeps enhancing and enhancing, and it keeps getting better and better and
It's
better.
really wild now. Yeah.
I'm glad you touched on the point because you have to, when you get ready to walk into these interviews, you do have to walk in with a certain level of confidence. You have to, you do, no, you walk in like you own the building.
That's how I used to do it.
No, I'm serious. You walk in like this building is mine. And if you've got to tell yourself that before you get out the car, tell yourself that as you get out the car, walk in there like this is my building. Good morning, everybody. I'm here. And that's how you present yourself. Because this next exercise that I'm going to give you is an exercise that will give you that level of confidence. This exercise, you can take a picture of it.
That's what you write.
No, take a picture of it because some of the writing is small. So I want you to take a picture of it. That way when you get home, you can blow it up or what have you. Now, this is my own little methodology. This is a Dionism right here. And I'll leave it there, so I'm not going to take it down for you for a minute. But what it does is that it tells you, let me go in and print out this job posting, or let me just look at the job posting, right? When you go through that job posting, read everything that they're asking you for, the qualifications, pre-qualifications. When you're going through that, put a yes. Oh, I got that. I know, I got that skill. I know that qualification. And then an N on it if you don't have it. And a W on it if you're working on it. You don't quite have it yet, but you're working on it. What you're going to do is you're going to add up all these yeses, you're going to add up all these nos, and you're going to add up all of these working in progress. And if you've got 75% or more yeses, I need for you to apply for this position. Because now what this exercise is doing, this exercise is also getting you to understand, I got what they're looking for. I know what they are asking for, and I can do it. Now when they call you in for the interview, you already have done this exercise, and this is in your mind. Oh, I know what they're asking me for. I know how to do this. Right? Yes, ma'am.
Oh, no, scratch.
Oh, okay.
I know what else.
It's a fancy scratch. Do you have questions on that?
I want to make sure I got it.
Okay. And then when you get ready to send your application, so now that you know, oh my gosh, I can actually apply for this because I got the skill. Make sure your resume says some of these things. Yeah, come on up here and take a picture. Yeah, come on up.
I need to learn how to, like when it's time to send the resume and the cover letter. That's what I need to learn how to do. I don't know how to do that.
Okay. So you normally have your resume saved on your computer, right?
I don't.
You don't?
I don't know how to do that either, but I can learn.
Okay.
Thanks to YouTube.
Okay. Learn it to YouTube. So normally what happens is you go into Word. Just because you asked me, now I'm going to pause for just a second.
Because I did an application and then got to a cover letter and everything. I said, wow, for a job like that?
So you go into Word. Email, what did we say? We said email and phone.
Doesn't Word have
Some templates. They got templates. But I was just trying to show her just quickly, just you put your name, your email address, your phone, all of that. And then underneath that is where your objective will go here. Your jobs will go here. And your education will go underneath that, right? So it's just a shell of what it will actually look like. I'm just trying to provide a shell. And then what you'll do is you'll, I don't put the years, but I put, yeah, yeah. And at this stage, what I would do is any college or certifications that you have. I wouldn't even go back to my high school. Because if you're in college, they already know you graduated high school, right?
So people know, I do have an event coming up at the beginning of October with the Youth Architecture Lab. It's an open lab session, and so you can come to that if you want, and I can show you and help you create a resume and a cover letter. We can go through that in more detail.
Yeah, yeah. So once you save it, you'll save it to your computer. And then once you save it to your computer, when you get online, it'll say you want to upload your resume. So you just go right over there, pick it up from your resume, and then from the system, and upload it. And a lot of times, what it'll do, it'll automatically populate that application for you, which will save you some time. Now you may have to go in there and tweak it because sometimes their font is kind of crazy, but you'll go in there and tweak it a little bit. But that's how you do that. I wanted to take a moment and show you that. Yeah. So it's not as hard as you think it is.
No, it's not. It's just because you don't know.
It's just because you don't know. Yes, ma'am.
Just like Erica said, but there's also a class on how to get your resume and.
No, my thing is sending it.
Oh, yeah, sending it.
Once I'm done with the
They'll help you
application.
here. They'll help you here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that part. You know, I told somebody, as a matter of fact, I had a conversation with somebody yesterday. And I was telling this young man, I was telling him, you're going to experience a lot of firsts. You're going to experience a lot of things you've never done before. Open your mouth and just ask somebody. Because you're going to have people, when you ask, you're going to have people that's going to help you, that don't mind giving you whatever you need and pouring their cup empty. Now, you're going to have some people that ain't going to help you at all.
Yeah.
But that just tells you that's not where my help is coming from.
Right.
My help is coming from here. Yeah, I know. I really wanted to say that. I'm on camera, so I got to do this from a professional perspective. But my help is coming from here. But do you see where I'm coming from? So don't be afraid to
Oh,
ask.
I'm not. That's one thing I'm not.
Oh no, somebody somewhere is gonna help you. Did that help you?
Oh, yes, yes.
Okay. Uh-huh. We're here today to get it however we need to. So do you guys like this exercise right here? It's helpful. It's helpful. I used to train my team on this. And this is one of the things in which I would use with my team. And I would make them, it was so funny because they would only be in the role probably about 2 months. And I would ask them, okay, so where are you going next? They were like, Miss Dion, I just took the job. I said, I know, but we got a plan for your next move. What is your next move? And this is what I want you guys to do even after you leave. And after you get your job, I want you to pull off another position that you want. And in that next position, I want you to, again, identify what you have and identify what you don't have. And what you don't have, let's figure out how to get it. Right? And that's what I would used to do with my team. Like, what skills do you not have? And then what I would do is set them down and say, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to have you start doing this, this, and that to show that you have the skills so that when you get ready to promote out to this other position, you can get it. And then we're also going to go through the conversation of how to explain the transferable skill, because that's what it is. You always continue to grow. You always continue to develop. And if you've got people in your facility to help you with it, great. But if you don't, that responsibility is yours. And make sure you just continue to do it. Right? This is good today. Y'all got me here. Oh, y'all got me good today. All right. Oh no, I'm gonna pour my cup empty today. So do y'all want to go over some mock interviews? You want to play like I'm calling you for a job and we go over some of these questions? All right, this is Vegas. What happened in Vegas gonna stay in Vegas. Y'all ready? Who wants to go? Who's the first volunteer? Oh, you got voluntold. She did.
Oh, okay. I've had 4 jobs within the last. That's okay.
Oh, this is gonna be good then. Come on. Okay, so I'm gonna call you. What's your first name again?
Denise.
All right, Denise. Okay, ring, ring.
Hello.
Hello, may I speak with Denise, please?
Denise speaking.
Denise, this is Dion with KDMJ Solutions. How are you today?
Oh, I'm so great. I'm so glad you called me.
Yay, I see that you applied for this. We're just gonna say customer service, is that okay?
Okay.
We're gonna say, okay, so you've applied for this customer service position. Do me a favor, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Okay. I've done customer service. I've done customer service in the past, and well, I think my job now. I'm a customer service. I work in the medical industry, and I'm looking for something working from home.
Okay.
And with flexible hours. And my customer service skills, I've had them for about 20 years, about 20, 25 years, interacting with customers and trying to resolve resolution for them.
Okay, okay. You know what? I did not ask you, is now a good time to talk to you? Do you have a few minutes to talk to me?
I guess I do.
Okay, great, 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 great. Tell me a little bit about your strengths and your weaknesses.
I think my strengths are communication, but most of all listening to somebody to see what's actually, the problem is, and then trying to resolve that situation if I can. So I think my best strengths are listening.
Okay, okay. And what about your weaknesses?
Sometimes I can get oversympathetic with someone's problems and start marinating in it and trying to just move on from it. But I guess that would be a weakness.
Okay, okay. What made you apply to our company?
I'm looking for flexible hours, and I'm just now getting back into the workforce, and I'm excited, but this particular customer service, I think I'm not going to say thing, I know I'm able to do this.
I like that. Okay. What are your salary expectations?
Right now I'm very flexible, since I am looking for, a part-time job, probably around $20 an hour would be able to. I'm not good at talking about money.
Okay, we're gonna talk about that too. Come on.
About $20 an hour.
Okay, okay. Well, you know what? I really enjoyed my conversation with you today. We are going to move you to the next level of interviews. And so we will have someone to give you a call back. Give us a couple of days, but we will call you and set up a time for the next interview. Is that okay with you?
That's great.
All
I'm
right.
excited.
All right. Enjoy the rest of your day.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Y'all got any questions or comments?
Did great, better than I would.
Okay, 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 okay.
I like it.
I've had 100 interviews.
You had answers for everything.
Well, yeah. And the thing of it is that, so when they say, tell me a little bit about yourself, you want to have a pitch, because that's exactly what that's called. You want to have a pitch.
But it has to be related to the job.
You can make it, you can tailor it, rate it. Yeah,
Job that you're applying.
you can tailor it to the job. Because if you take your pitch and you tailor your pitch according to the job that you're applying for, that's going to make their ears go up, and they're going to see you and separate you from everybody else because of how you pitched.
And I've never had a job interview in my entire life.
Okay.
Usually the way I got my job was through people I knew.
This must be nice to have favor. That's what I call it.
Yeah, like one time I thought I was going for an interview. I dressed the part and everything. My crazy friend came in, girl, come on in here, you got the job. You going to the game? I said, well, how am I supposed to learn how to
to interview?
This
Okay.
was when I lived in California.
Easy.
I had a lot of friends here, but I don't have anybody here.
Well, we're gonna make a change for you.
This boy
We're
over
gonna
here.
No, we're gonna make a change. We're gonna make a change. But that's what you want when they ask you. That's what that is. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
They don't mean personal.
No.
They're talking about job related.
They're talking, but a lot of people will go into the personal.
Yeah, that's what I don't.
So that's why they leave it wide open, because they're gonna see what you're gonna actually give. So make it business.
Okay,
Make it business. Stay business.
That's what I think.
Yeah, this is business. Let's handle business. Oh my gosh, I've got, so many years of experience. I specialize in, conflict resolution. I'm able to solve customers' problems without, bringing in management. So I'm really good at that. I'm just really looking forward to, working with your organization. Know at least one thing about them. I read that, you guys are, you're top in this area, or, just at least something that you can throw into that pitch. Yeah, you guys are, oh my gosh, you guys you were voted #1 in customer service for 2024.
When I would do retail, I would go around, like I used to shop at Marshalls a lot, since like the early 80s. And I'd noticed how they treated each other.
Yeah.
I would want to be a part of it. Sometimes they would say, as much as you're in here, you may as well.
You might as well go to work here. Yeah.
So that's what I did. I
Yeah.
filled out that paper application at that
And
time.
then just went ahead. I think they still have
Because
one.
I was in there all the time.
And that's how you do it.
Yeah.
And tell them a
That's
little
how I
bit.
got my job. Another way I got it.
Your weaknesses was a great example.
Sure would.
Your weakness was a great example.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, you had a really good example for your weakness as well as your strengths. Now let's get to this money.
Yeah.
Let's get to this money. When you look at the money, I'm going to tell y'all, stand 10 toes down
That's right.
on your money and your chest out. Don't sell yourself short. If it says it's going to pay you $40 an hour, ask them for that $40 an hour.
Grandmother.
No, and I'm serious.
Self-short.
Don't say, because nothing is worse than to take a position, you've cut your salary expectations, and they are working the daylights out of you.
Then you gotta go get a.
And now you're mad because you're like, you know what? I should have asked them for more money.
Yeah, it's just
No, seriously.
yeah. And that's what.
Well, how do you figure out what they're paying? Right? How do I even know that? Write this one down. I need you guys to go to Glassdoor. Glassdoor.com. Glassdoor is special because Glassdoor will allow you to put in the title of the position, the area that you in, and what area, meaning like the DFW area. Glassdoor will tell you the low end, the median end. It'll give you the high end. It'll tell you pretty much if there's bonuses. I dare you not put in the name of the company. Because Glassdoor will tell you based upon that position what that company is paying.
So which one is better, LinkedIn or Glassdoor?
I like Glassdoor for salary. I like it for salary.
Yeah.
For salary. Because it's going to tell you.
I didn't know that about Glassdoor.
Now, if you don't want to give them a dollar amount, I like to play games with these people sometimes. So what I'll tell them is this. You know, what are your salary expectations? Well, based upon my experience of customer service, being in the customer service side for 20 years and knowing how to assist customers, I would expect to be paid on the mid to high level for this position. See, I didn't give her no dollar amount.
Okay, so what about like if you don't have a lot of experience and you can't ask for that high salary, then can you? Or can you?
If you have the transferable skills, you can.
Like entry level type?
But if you have the transferable skills, you can.
You have the skills.
If you have those transferable skills, that simulation that we went through a while ago, you can still ask for the
Not
money.
the experience, you can.
So if you have absolutely no experience in the area,
But you can do the job.
then you would ask for just a regular salary. But based upon what you and I just got through talking about, and you having home experience as well as volunteering, you got the experience. It's just how do you explain your experience to them? You have it. You may not have it in the workplace, but a skill is a skill is a skill regardless of where you picked it up
That's why I
from.
said if you can
Yeah.
do it, you can still ask
Yeah.
for the money.
So, yeah. You just have to be able to tell them.
Okay, tell me today.
But and I say that, but so really and truly, what I really want you to do, I want you to go back and think through when you get ready to apply, and you're looking at that application. Think back to what you did previously that falls in line with what they're asking for, and those are going to give you your answers for that job.
And another thing, like the systems that I've worked on, they're so outdated. Because they ask that question.
And the systems have changed.
It's a lot.
Yeah, the systems have changed.
Yeah.
But the thing of it is that you learned those systems and you were able to master those systems. So if those systems have changed, a system is a system. It's just the name field may be up here on one system, it may be down there on another system. The payment information may be here in one system, whatever it is. A system is a system. So you have the ability to learn whatever system they have.
Yeah.
And that would be my answer. I haven't worked with that system, but
One of my volunteer jobs, I worked in medical records, and they had me scanning documents and stuff, and that was something new I learned. Yeah.
perfect example to give. Perfect example to give. I always use the example, and this really happened. I took a job in a totally different industry, and they didn't give me no training. They just threw me in and said, go for it. But you know what I did? I mastered the system. I said, okay, well, let me go in here and learn. It does this, it does this. Oh, okay, let me just, and the thing of it is, you have to show that you have that drive. You know what? There have been times in which I've been put into positions where I've had to use a brand new system with no training, but I've been able to do it. So I'm not afraid to learn a new system. Yeah, I'm good.
I myself a lot about that iPad that I have at home.
There you
I
go.
was afraid of it.
No.
Touching buttons.
No.
I thought I was going to kill that machine.
No, you just tell them, I don't mind learning a new system.
I don't.
You know, I welcome the challenge. You know?
Everyone has a different system.
Yeah, everybody does.
Salesforce or this or that.
Exactly.
Simuldocs.
Yeah, everybody's got something different. So that's the expectation. I expect to learn a new system. And just leave it at that.
That happened to me with this job I got on Saturdays and Sundays. We came in, 3 other nurses came in, and she actually trained us on the system she had the computer, we didn't even go to a computer room. And she was just, and so I'm the only one got up and went over there and was looking at her. And I came up in a situation that night, oh my goodness. But I had started playing with the system.
Yeah.
It was click and point, I think. And I was like, oh, this is pretty easy.
Yeah. Yeah, once you start playing with it.
But I just started, but let me tell you, I was very kind of, you know, I felt a certain kind of way before I started doing it. But you just don't have to throw yourself in.
Throw it in. Throw it in.
I was.
Oh, yes. So these are just, as a lot of y'all probably know, I'm the senior employment specialist here, so I work with a lot of clients over the last year, and some of them have actually applied for jobs here at our agency throughout the year. And there are a couple of interview questions that have prevented people from getting to the final interview, or they got to the final interview, and then they blew it on the question. So I'd love if I could give you those 3 questions.
Oh, yes.
See how they would answer it, because
Look,
these are
come on,
questions
Erica,
that
hit me.
Okay.
Hit me. I'm ready. Hit me.
Here's one that's been difficult for people to answer.
And if you don't mind, as you ask the question, I'm going to answer the question as if I'm in the interview.
Here we go. Okay. So, what are your thoughts on diversity, equity, and inclusion and its value in the workplace?
DEI, you know, people call it DEI. DEI is valuable in the workplace because what diversity, equity, inclusion does is that it brings everybody together from different walks of life. And when you bring everybody in from different walks of life, now you have a more holistic way of working. You have a holistic way of making solutions for the business that will help us, you know, be even better at what we do.
There we go.
Told you I got a million of them off the cuff. Equity and inclusion.
Because what a lot of people have done in that question, just here or even in other places, is they focus heavily on talking about the race aspect. They don't go into talking about ageism. They don't go into talking about ability, you know, just different things like that. Because there are different variations of that question. Some companies will ask you flat out, what is the DEI? Like, tell me what it is. Because they want to understand what you know about diversity, equity, and inclusion, and is it beyond race?
Ask me that one.
Okay. So, here we go. So,
Well, and I say that because I want you guys to walk away with some examples.
yeah, 'cause that's
Is what I want you to walk away with. Yeah,
It's
go ahead.
everything right now. Okay, so what is diversity and equity to you?
Diversity, equity, inclusion to me is where we have people from different backgrounds, different ethnicities, different genders, and how genders are identified. And what DEI does is it brings everyone together. And it makes an environment to where everyone can come together and work and provide all of their bright ideas so that our organization can be better.
Follow-up question.
Oh, Lord Jesus. Eric, you say follow up. Come on.
Okay, so the question could be something along the lines of, have you ever found yourself in a situation with either a customer or a teammate who was very different than you, where you didn't feel accepted, and maybe either you didn't feel accepted, or maybe you felt uncomfortable with a way that they either identified, or maybe they said something that you didn't agree with? Like, how did you navigate that situation? Or how did you navigate that situation when you found yourself in that situation?
Ooh, shots fired. That's a hard one. Because I've never had that happen.
And see, I bring it up because I've employed some older adults who pushed vocally against DEI, and eventually became the reason why they terminated. And I think that that's a heavy issue for a lot of people, but I especially think it's a heavy issue for the boomer generation, silent era, because that was never an issue back then. It's being discussed now. People are wanting to be accepted, respected, all the things that everybody deserves. But I feel like back when, my parents were younger, or my grandparents were younger, people just didn't care. Lawyers didn't care. They said, come to work, do what we tell you, bye. Don't care if I hurt your feelings. That's no longer the way that we do things. And so we have a generation of people who are learning that, completely understandable. So it becomes an issue sometimes in the workplace. And so I think it's important to think through how to navigate those issues when you encounter them, or how do you navigate if somebody does something to you? Like, how do you navigate that?
Because as you said that question, the only example that came to mind was there was a time where there was a lady on, she wasn't on my team, she was on another team, but she was a lady of age. And when the process changed, like they didn't want them to log their contacts on one system, they wanted them to log their contacts on another system. Well, she had a hard time with the transition. But the beautiful thing in this situation is that she had people that were around her that would stop what they were doing to be able to help her get the contact. Now, it took her probably about 2 months to catch on to the transition, but, just having the right people around you, to help you to make that change was great for her. Now, that's the only DEI example that I can think of that I've actually experienced.
Yeah. And I think in that situation, if you've never actually experienced that, I wonder how is it best to answer that question?
If you haven't experienced it, I would just be transparent and say, I have not had an experience where I've actually witnessed it, or I've worked with it. But let me tell you what I would do if it came up. Right? If I see someone who is not feeling included, or if I see someone who's having an issue because they haven't grasped the information, I'm a natural helper. So I'm going to go help. Or I'm going to create an environment to where everyone is included. That's how I approach DEI. Yes, ma'am.
I'm glad you said that, because I when I have been on interviews, I have maybe not encountered the situation, but in my head I'm thinking right away, and I'll try to say, oh yeah, this happened, and I would make it up, and then I would say, but this is what I did, and I would be nervous. And
that comes off.
And I thought that, and I'm like, no, I can't say,
No.
well, I've never experienced that, but I like how you said, no, I've never experienced, but this is what I would do.
Let me tell you how I'd handle it.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Because the thing of it is, when you make up an answer, number one, you're uncomfortable. Right? When you make up an answer, it shows in your face and it shows in your demeanor. If you have a good person who's interviewing you and can see past your answer and read your body language. Now, the funny part is they're listening to you. You're in the creation phase, right? In your mind. So if they come back and they start asking you some other questions and you answer them differently than the story that you gave, it's not lining up. Do you see where I'm coming from? So it's better to be truthful and just say, you know what, I really don't have an example, but let me show you how, let me tell you what I would do. You know, and if they don't take that and say, you know, but I'm also open to answering another question if you have it, or a different question, you know, if you have it. Yeah. Because they got a list of questions. It's just what they decide to pick. No, seriously, they do.
All the questions, and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't see that. You know, like back then,
Yeah.
back in the 80s, 90s. Oh, what is your, tell me something negative about you. Well, of course, you're going to sugarcoat that negative, you know, personality or trait or something, you know.
You always want your negative, or you want your weakness to be, number one, something that you're constantly trying to improve.
Okay.
But you don't want that to be something that's going to keep you from getting the job.
Exactly.
You know, you don't want to go in there and say, yeah, my boss told me I needed to do this, and I told him to go to the moon. You know, that's not the way in which you're going to answer that question. But the thing of it is, you want it to be something good. Like back in the day, my weakness was that I care too much about what needs to be turned in. So I will look at it. I'm overthinking it sometimes before I actually turn in what I have to turn in. You know, so, you know, I just have to remind myself it's fine and go ahead and get it turned in. You know, so, and it shows that that's an issue for me, but it's something that I'm also working on. Okay. Y'all want to do another simulation?
Yeah.
Who's next? All right, come on. All right, so you want to do the same example, customer service?
Sure.
Okay, come on, let's do it. So your first name again? Elvira. All right, ring.
Hello.
Hello, may I speak with Elvira?
This is Elvira speaking.
Hi, Elvira. This is Dion with KDMJ Solutions giving you a call about the customer service position you applied for. How are you today?
Oh, good. I'm good. How are you?
Good. Is now a good time to talk to you?
Yes, definitely.
Perfect. Well, I wanted to talk to you about the customer service position you applied for. Can you first of all tell me a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I have extensive experience working with individuals. I like problem solving, and I enjoy helping people reach their desired goal and making sure people are happy with whatever product our company is selling.
I'm loving this. All right, well, tell me a little bit about your strengths and your weaknesses.
Oh, my strengths are that I'm very loyal. I enjoy working, and one of my weaknesses is I want to help people, and I step out of that boundary. So I think that's one of my weaknesses.
Okay. Tell me about a time where you had to deal with, girl, too much. No, it was just too much of me. That's too much of me. That table said, girl, no. So tell me about a time where you had to deal with a difficult customer and how you handled that.
Oh, yes. One time I had this lady who was really upset, and she looked at me because I wasn't giving her the result that she wanted, but I knew that it was against our policy, so I had to call my manager, and my manager backed me up 100%, and the lady did back off. So, but basically she was trying to like be above me in the way that she wanted me to do something that I wasn't supposed to do.
Okay. Would you handle that situation any differently today?
No, I would listen. I listened to her like I did in the beginning, and once again, like I said, I would go to my supervisor because it was against policy, and I can't go
Against policy. Got you. What are your salary expectations?
Well, I was making $22, so anything above 22 or anything above.
Okay. All right. Well, congratulations. You're moving forward to the next level of interviews. We will reach out to you. Any questions for me?
Oh, well, thank you very much for moving me on. more or less, when will I get a follow-up?
That's a good
Is
one.
there
Y'all don't need me today. Y'all don't need me. I'm going home.
is there a time frame? And who am I gonna get the follow-up call
Yes.
from?
I had that happen to me yesterday and didn't ask.
I am so glad you asked. It normally takes about 2 to 3 days. What I'll have to do is look at the hiring manager's schedule and be able to schedule time with you. I'm not sure if this is going to Bob's or Billy's team, so you'll probably hear from Bob or from Billy. But give us about 2 or 3 days, and then we'll be back in contact with you.
Well, thank you very much for considering me.
Thank you so much. Have a great day. Ooh, girl. You don't need me.
Now, you've been very helpful.
I am here for decorations today.
No,
Oh,
you don't,
yeah.
no, you just, I think, and I think we all now,
Yes.
we lack a little bit, we lack that confidence. And when we hear people like you, you're building up our confidence and, you know, we're like, boom,
Yeah.
next thing
Yeah.
I go in, this is my building.
Yeah.
This is my company.
It is.
You're gonna hire me.
Yeah, it is. Because I heard someone say the other day as well, borrow my confidence until you get your own.
Oh, that's a good thing to say.
I'm serious. You borrow my confidence until you get your own. Because you know what you're going to do? You're going to get your own.
Have me crying up in here. I'm sensitive.
Well, my thing of it is, my goal is to build you as much as I can build you in the time that I have. Because what you also have to understand is that we're here to help each other. And what I've learned and what I've experienced, I'm doing my best today to pour everything I got into y'all in this time that I got, is what I'm trying to do. Because you have not, because you ask not. Right? So let's ask me. Like I said, ask me anything you want to ask me today. But when you go in there, ask them for what you want. If it's given to you, that's where you need to be. If it's not given to you, that's not where you need to be. There was a time in which I was applying for this job. And at that time, what I heard to ask for, and y'all know what I mean heard, I heard to ask for $65,000 a year. And you're fine. And so when it came out of my mouth, I freaked out. And I said, lady said, well, how much, Dion, do you expect to be paid? I said, $65,000. And she said, oh. And then I started backtracking. And I said, no. And I kept hearing that in my ear. I said, no, ma'am, it's 65. She said, okay, we really like you. You come with a lot of experience, da-da-da-da. Let me go talk to them. I'm going to come back to you. I said, yes, ma'am. I hung up the phone. I said, girl, you don't mess all that up. I said, girl, you don't mess that up. What are you doing? What are you doing? But you know what she did? She said, we liked your answers and we liked the way in which you interviewed so much. We're going to pay you $60,000. And then in 30 days, after you complete that 30 days, we're going to give you a $5,000 check. Do you see what I'm saying?
Did you take that job?
Girl, I took that job. I ran to that job. But the reason why I'm giving you the example is because when you ask for something that's not common, or you ask for something that makes you uncomfortable, still ask.
I used to be like,
Yeah, you getting ready to be.
I'll be back.
Look, you coming back today. Yes, ma'am.
My daughter, she's an attorney, and she's a little thing like this, 110 pounds, well, now she's pregnant. And she tells my husband, because my husband still works, she's like, why don't you ask? If
Yeah.
you don't ask, you'll never get.
You never
They
know.
think you're happy. She's like, ask them for this.
Yeah, you ask.
Ask for this money. If they say no, all they can say is no. She's like, Mom, I always ask.
You have to.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like I told you, I'm going back in with my meal, going back into the workforce, and I'm working Saturday and Sunday right now. Well, I have all these residents, you make $5 an hour, I make this and that. Well, I went in there, and they basically, you know, I went in there and I told them that, you know, I had been in this area in God knows when. And they basically told me what I was going to be making. So now like you said, I'm a little resentful because I'm doing more work than what they're paying me. And so
I'm gonna be honest with you. With you being, I already told you your job. I'm coming to your job now. Just hearing you today and hearing your experience, they have nursing positions online that you can, nursing positions where you can do them remotely. And it's more support, kind of going and tapping back into your experience and bringing that to the table. And those pay well. And I'm talking 40 plus an hour, depending upon what you do.
Okay, you're a nurse. I had never heard the term doula. Doula for pregnant women.
I've never heard that.
Maternity.
Girl, please. My daughter is what, 36? They now have doulas, which are like midwives.
Yeah, you get certified in that.
Right, and they get, I think it's a.
They get paid good money too.
And it's,
To be there for delivery, especially when they do it from home. Yeah. There's so much now open for nurses. They have remote nurses. At one point, I forgot what it was for, but they brought a nurse in to do my blood pressure. Came to my house.
That's case management.
Yeah.
I worked in Superior as a remote nurse, but getting back into that field, now I'm not an RN, I'm an LVN. Getting back into the field is kind of,
It's gonna be
where you
competitive.
be.
Well, and the thing of it is that, you know what? And the way in which you answer that, they know that that's a demanding field and that it requires a lot of your time. You correct me when I'm wrong. But the thing of it is that I would say I stepped away, just to kind of take some personal time. But I'm ready to get back into it.
And then go into my cancer.
You ain't got to go all into that.
There's a huge shortage in medical professionals.
That's why I'm saying that's where she needs to be.
Well,
Yeah.
I told you I've had 4 jobs in the last 4 months.
Yeah.
And I'll be thinking like,
No.
And I started saying, what am I doing wrong? One thing, I'll be honest with you, I wasn't praying about it at first. I was just taking it like,
No.
okay.
No, that's what you need to do. Because and if you don't mind me also being completely transparent for just a second, you're coming in here and taking jobs here where you need to be there. I'm just going to be honest. If you don't mind me being completely transparent with you today, that's where you're coming in, but this is where you need to be.
Okay. And I need that confident level.
You do. Yeah.
I just want to say, I admire you for everything you've done. You learn so much and And like she just said, you see, Anthony,
Yeah.
I always thought,
I have.
why should I take a job here when I have this experience? And I'm like, no, Lyra, maybe you just have to.
Were you in the last class where we talked about worthy? The last class that I had in here, I'm going to leave y'all with this word before we get to this. The word is this. The word is worthy. I need each of y'all to remind yourself that you're worthy. I made a t-shirt. I had it on actually the other day. Where you have to remind yourself that I am worthy. I am worthy of this job. I am worthy of the pay. I am worthy of everything that's coming to me. Because you are. And we forget to tell ourselves that sometimes. But you are. So stop coming in right here. And come in where you're supposed to come in. Because this is where you're supposed to be. Okay?
And I remember that.
That's where you're supposed to be. When somebody call you and they tell me, we're going to pay you $15 boy, you better go. I'm up here. I'm just saying, that's what you have to remind. Dion told me I was worthy. No, that ain't it. That ain't it. Don't they do it on basketball? And football? Yeah.
Yes.
Now, do you want to do assimilation? Okay.
I don't have, I've never been interviewed.
Oh, well, we can ready to do it today. And the thing, the reason why I want.
Get ready to learn.
No, we're not. No, we're not. The reason why I want to do it
Okay.
is because the more you practice, the better you get.
Okay. So this will be the first time.
Come on.
Take it easy.
They've called me Hammer before, so I'm gonna be real nice.
Thank you, Hammer. Thank you, Hammer.
All right. Mary?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, come on. Ring. Hello, may I speak with Mary?
Mary speaking.
Mary, this is Deanne Rashad with KDMJ Solutions. We saw your application for customer service and wanted to talk to you about it.
Sir, I think that was something else.
Is it the executive director position?
There it is.
I mean, if you want to go there, I'm going to take you all the way. She said she wasn't coming in right here, though, didn't she?
Yeah.
Is now a good time to talk to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, perfect, perfect. Well, Mary, can you do me a favor and tell me a little bit about yourself?
Okay. I did a couple years of college. I've had my own business in childcare. And I've been a volunteer for a lot of different things, after school activities. That's about it.
Okay, okay. So can you tell me a little bit about your strengths and your weaknesses?
Always punctual.
Love
So
it.
punctual, I'm there like 2 hours early. And I'm reliable. Friendly, very friendly.
All right. What about your weaknesses?
I think I get too involved with other people's issues.
Okay, okay. Not a problem. Can you tell me about a time in which you had a customer issue or problem that you were able to fix, or just kind of what happened?
Okay, I want to say something
Go ahead.
because I don't recall anything
Okay.
other than the lady that came in doing the retail.
That's not a bad idea. That's not a bad one to use.
That was a temporary job, like a season.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Because even when they're asking you for the experience.
Oh, I know one.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, now we're back talking. We're back.
Okay, we're back on the interview. Okay, I'm good. I'm good.
Oh, right. When I did have my childcare business, I had a lawyer draw a contract for my people, for the parent, and like 6 months after this parent signed her contract, she went on vacation, and I had her initial different things that I wanted her to really see before I started keeping her child. And one of those issues was when you go on vacation, you have to pay me.
Yeah.
You have to pay me for that time. And she didn't want to do it. So what I did was, I said, you pay me half, and we'll let the rest go. And that's how I
Resolved it. Okay,
resolved
not
the
bad.
situation.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Okay, Miss Mary, what are your salary expectations?
About 35 an hour.
Okay, okay, not a problem. All right, Miss Mary, you have moved to the next level. And what we'll do is get back in contact with you. I'm going to jump her. We're going to call you back. We'll have Bill or Bob to give you a call back.
Bill or Bob?
Bill or Bob is going to call you back.
I was nervous.
No, and the thing of it, that's part of the reason why I wanted you to go through it. Is because you have way more experience than you know. Yeah. So as you're talking, I'm listening. And the experience that you have, you've been a leader, you've been an owner. Yeah, you've done these contract positions, but you have way more than just the homemaker experience that you told me when we got in here. And use those. An owner puts you at a totally different level than a customer service rep. Because now you've managed your own business, you've managed the budget, you've managed people. Do you see where I'm coming from?
Yeah, I do.
Yes.
But okay, it was so far
I don't even
long
care.
ago.
The thing of it is, when you manage people, managing people is managing people. I don't care when it is. A lot of those issues, problems, and situations that you encounter as a leader with your people have not changed. The only thing that's changed is the faces on the people. All of those still the same. So you have a lot more than what you told me when I got first in here.
I didn't even think about those other things. Definitely.
But anything, like I said, even with it happening way back when, it's still the same. Don't discount the time period of when it took place. Push forward the experience that you have in doing it. Right?
Gotcha.
You did a good job.
Yeah, thank you.
It's good.
You
Yeah.
made me nervous.
And that's why I wanted to do it, because I could tell you were nervous. No, and I could tell you were nervous, and I could hear that you were nervous.
Yeah.
I could hear that. These are some of the sample interview questions that y'all took a picture.
Picture of those.
Do you have it? There's sample interview questions that I want y'all to practice. See, we came prepared today. We got y'all, right? And these are questions that you can just ask yourself during the day, and just practice on my answer. Ooh, if somebody asks me this, how do I prioritize my day? If I'm in the workplace, I'm gonna look at my email first, and then go ahead and start taking calls if that's what you're supposed to do. Or if you got meetings, I'm gonna look at my meeting schedule and see what that needs to be. You just apply it to the right position.
Well, I didn't study with that safe life. I got hired there, and I was just so happy. They fired me because I didn't have the Then I went to a job that I actually was, it was in for a chronic care manager. It's just service coordinator. It's a fancy name. And they had told me that I would be working remote, but I had to come in and train. And I was like, oh, okay. And so then they wanted me to train and I'm thinking like, I didn't come here to train, I came here. So that wasn't a good fit for me because they had said remote. And, first you should say, you're gonna work remote for so many weeks, but that was not the case. Then I went to another job, I forgot that one, but this one, I did when I went and got, and I'm telling you, I just really never applied at a nursing home. Not saying it was below me, but I kind of knew, I've just heard so many crazy stories, Well, I went to this job, I was honest with them. I hadn't did G-tube feeding, I hadn't did any of this, and these people actually said, well, okay. I was, honest, I haven't done this. And I'm going to tell you, really, it's been real rewarding. It's just that I'm going to be 65 Friday. And I don't know if I really want to do this. But it's been the most rewarding job.
The funny part about all of this, is that if you open up yourself, you can still change. So if that's not really what you want to do, then open yourself up and change to something else. Do you see what I'm saying? The funnier part about looking for a job, you continue to look for the job until you find a job to give you peace. You keep looking for it until they give you peace. If that's not it, then that's fine. Let me give me another one. And then you find that place where you feel warm, fuzzy, and comfortable, and you just sit on down. Right? So that's how you do it. Now, with the interviews that you guys have been having, or will have, make sure that you get yourself set up to where a lot of these companies now are doing them via Zoom or Teams and all of that. Those are just different ways. You just click the link. It's a free one if you haven't used it. Then you're good. I normally, Teams is just like Zoom, but it's just a little different. But you basically log on the same way and all that other good stuff. I normally try to play with it at least 20 minutes before You know, if I'm gonna have a call with folks, I try to make sure it's up, it's working, you can hear me, all that good stuff before getting on. And these are just some of the navigating the interview tips that I get. We talked about transferable skills. We did our mock interviews and we practiced some of those. One of the things in which I definitely say is answer in a positive manner. Even if you were working in an environment that was crazy, still spin it to where it was just not the environment for you, rather than saying they were just correct. Do you see what I'm saying? You have to change your words for that piece. Now, the interview types, we talked about the behavioral and we talked about the STAR method. Sometimes they'll have you do a panel interview. If you go in, don't freak out, because they're probably going to have 3 or 4 people.
A lot of people, huh?
Yeah, they may have anywhere from 3 to maybe 5 people in there.
They can decide who wants to.
Well, that part, but then they may have different people just asking you questions.
I was doing volunteer work at Metro Care in Dallas, and they had a position that they wanted filled, but they had filled it, but they were still interviewing people out from the outside. But they had filled the position.
Oh, wow.
I didn't like that.
Well, keep in mind, sometimes when they do that, they look at interviewing you, and even though this position that you applied for may be filled.
I didn't apply for it. I was actually volunteering.
Oh, you volunteered.
And they were looking for someone to take that position. But they hired someone from the inside, but they were interviewing people on the outside.
2 things on that. Sometimes companies will do that because they'll say, okay, we fill this position, but is there someone we can try to get pushed to another team or to another department? I say that because when I was at Bank of America, if I didn't hire them for my team, we kept interviewing because I could have given them to somebody else. You know, I said, okay,
What I didn't know is that after they hired the person from within, they were still interviewing these young people, getting excited, coming out, and they didn't say, we already got our person.
And that's because they normally have to do they normally have to interview people. Yeah, they do have to interview the people that they've called at that point. Yeah, they got to interview them. Even though they've got, even though they've got it. Yeah, because sometimes even when if I'm just transparent, sometimes even when you apply for a position, they already have a person in mind. It's a process that they have to go through. Yeah. But in some cases, they do continue to interview because you may not get that one, but they can put you somewhere else. Yeah. A friend of mine that when I was at B of A, we would tag team sometimes. And I'm like, I'm taking her, you taking him, or, you know, and we would just, we would do that. Yeah, we would do that. We would do that. Salary negotiations, which y'all got that on the other side. You got it. Yeah, I printed that. Yeah, just know your worth. Like I said, we talked about going to Glassdoor, looking at Glassdoor. There's a couple of other sites on there, PayScale. There's in LinkedIn. Those are just good places to just really just look and see what that position is paying for and what it's going to pay. That way you can make sure you're comfortable with what they're asking for and what you're being paid. And then definitely highlight your value. I mean, if you got something special in that area, you know, if they're like in project management, if you have different certifications or leadership and you have different certifications and stuff like that, highlight those. You know, because that's what's going to set you apart from anybody else that's walking in the door that's applying for the same position. And be prepared to negotiate. You know, be prepared. You know, ask them, you know, like Ken said, you know, thank you. I didn't see that, you know, there's a salary on this position. What does it pay? You know, what's the pay range?
You know, I was kind of brought up in that era where, you know, you really didn't ask in the first interview. And I think that's what be going on in my head.
No, we get ready to change that. We're going to flip that whole thing on y'all. So let me tell y'all, this is what we're going to do going forward. Not only do we ask about the money, but we also interview them just as much as they interviewing me. You do.
Always done that.
Do, because the thing of it is, I'll ask a person in a minute, why should I work in this organization? Yes.
That's right.
Glassdoor, them reviews are real. They real. I took a job with one company. When I tell you, if they would have had a negative 16, I think they would have got it. Negative 16 stars. But the funny part is that I tried to be optimistic, right? I said, Dion, go in, go in, open your mind. You know, I was in that phase. Open your mind. Girl, I should have my mind I should have listened to my mind. Because when I tell you that thing was spot on, it was spot on. It was spot on. You know, I tried to be optimistic, but the stuff that they were saying, I'm like, Lord, there it is. There it is. It really happened that way.
There it is.
Whoop, there it is. Whoop, there it is. So look at those things, because those things are true. But definitely don't mind asking for the money, and don't mind interviewing them. If you go in there and it's not right, it really ain't right. It ain't. You know, I get it. That's just not the door you walk through. Walk through the right door. Focus on the total compensation. Talk about, you know, my total compensation, my hours, my pay, my vacation, all of that. You know, are you guys structured to where we're coming up on the holidays? Do you let everybody off, or do you run a half staff? You know, how far in advance do I need to communicate with you if I have a trip planned for the holidays? You know, I can work Thanksgiving, but I can't work Christmas, or I can work Christmas, but I can't work. Communicate those things.
That's why I like the temp services.
Oh, yeah.
You really can communicate with them.
Yeah, you can. You can. And they good to you, too. And then just practice effective communication, you know, on those. You guys got that slide. So definitely I wanted to make sure you had something that you could take with you for today. Let me ask y'all a question. Seriously, y'all see the question? As a child, were you ever asked, what do you want to be when you grew up?
You'll be very surprised what I said.
Tell me what you said.
A mom and a wife.
Okay. What did you say?
I told my parents I wanted to be a doctor and a cook.
Okay. I don't have a problem with it. What'd you say?
I said I wanted to be a doctor.
Okay. So now that we got your, how much did you believe it when you said it at that time? Yeah, you believed it. You believed it wholeheartedly, 10 toes down, right? Did you achieve it?
No, I did half of it.
Okay.
Well, I do. I like to cook,
Okay.
and I went in the medical field,
Okay.
but not the doctor.
Okay. And you did yours. You did the mommy and the wife. Okay.
After glad.
Okay. The reason I looked at this exercise, I saw something again the other day. I'm on everything, looking at everything. But I looked at it the other day, and you go back and you think about a child and how sincere and how pure they are in their thoughts, and how much they believe in whatever they're telling you at that time, because they don't think of placing limits on themselves. But as we grow and as we mature, there's a thing called limitations that we place on ourselves. And that belief in what we want to do and what we can do changes. And it has a tendency to diminish because we allow other things to come in to change that belief. What I want you to do is, let's go back to that child mentality. And when we say we're going to do something or what we want to do, let's believe it. Let's believe it at that same level. Let's believe it at that same degree. Because if we believe in it at that same degree, we're going to achieve it. Am I right or am I wrong?
Right. I think he should be a motivated speaker.
I actually feel like I'm going back to my childhood.
No, and I'm saying because we have to pour into each other. You know, it's a simple exercise. The exercise that I saw didn't go the direction that I just did, because I have to go the direction that I hear, and that's the direction that I heard today. We have to go back to that childhood, and we have to go back to that basic belief that we can. I'm not just talking to y'all today, I'm talking to myself too. Because we have to believe it. Cool beans? Oh, I like the next time. I just want to let y'all know I can turn 5 real quick. Real quick. Real quick. Professional growth and development. This right here is what I love, 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 love. No, ma'am. But it's simple. You can take a picture of it. Professional growth and development is just that. You own it. How far you grow, how far you develop, it ain't too late. It's too late when you close your eyes and they don't open again. That's when it's too late. It is never too late. I've always had a mentor. I've had a mentor that came in and took me, several, that took me by my hand and helped me completely grow and develop professionally everywhere I went. If I didn't have one, I asked for one. I went into one lady's office. She ran the whole building. Told her I needed a mentor. And I thought she was going to give me somebody else. And she said she'd do it. And so we started this relationship. And it's so funny because this lady asked me about my degree. I told her I didn't need my degree. And she said, why not? I said, because I'm Dion Rashad. She said, get out my office. She did. She said, you need your degree and get out. And come back to me and tell me what your plan is. So I went back and I came up with a plan. Told her when I'd get back into school and all this other stuff. But at that time, I told her that because going back to that slide before, that was my belief. My belief was that I could do and achieve whatever I wanted to do and however I needed to do it without that piece of paper. But what she was trying to tell me was with the company that I was with at that time, I needed that piece of paper in order to propel. I understood what she was saying. But I also had to let her know I didn't need it because I'm Dion. That's why I got kicked out. But the thing of it is that you got to have it. So I have them because they're honest with me. That's what a mentor is going to be. The mentor is going to be honest with you when nobody else will be. Ain't nobody ever kicked me out of their office before, but her.
You sounded more and more like Deion Sanders.
So no, and I mean, I'm just being honest with you. You have to. You got to have somebody who's not going to just be a yes person to you. Open your mind, continue to learn, continue to get books. They got audibles these days. You don't even have to just sit down and read it. Play it while you're going to the grocery store. No, I'm serious. YouTube is a very good YouTube's got a lot of stuff out there. YouTube's got a lot of stuff out there. Yeah, it does. It does. So just continue to get professional coaching. There's nothing wrong with a professional coach. Ms. Dion, how do I need to answer this? Well, that's what we just got through doing.
This, not to go also into my, when I did come down with the diagnosis, I did have to go, I went to therapy.
You have to.
And then, my therapist did suggest I get a professional coach.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. I still have them.
Yeah, and I had it for a little while till my finances got a little crazy. But she was very helpful.
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of buried through some things.
Yeah.
But it was good for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Somebody that's going to really and truly be invested in you growing and developing will help you dig out those things that you need to dig out within yourself is really and truly a roadblock, right? And helping you get that out the way.
Yeah, and now I got more, and I think I probably need another one. But, you know, I know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. All right, so our takeaways today is to see the possibility and move in the direction of those possibilities. Another thing to do is only give yourself 5 minutes to sow. Just 5. Because sometimes we beat ourselves up longer than them 5 minutes. Interview didn't go the way you wanted, job didn't come out the way you wanted, the dog bit your shoes. I mean, whatever it may be. Give your 5 minutes to sit in that little soaky pool, and then get yourself out of it. I'm really enjoying y'all today. What questions y'all got for me?
And I'm going to say, you've answered so many questions for me. I came here for the Medicare. And I started talking to Carl and was telling him about, I'm going in so many directions now. And about this job thing. And he said, oh, it might be good. They have an interview session around there. He said, you got time. I'll go to it.
Let me see what they talk about.
I'm going to tell you, I know, I am going to bring pride in it. He opened this door. I needed to hear this. Y'all really don't realize, I really needed to hear this. And you have been so open and so, you really welcomed me in when I came in because I was late and I was like, but you have been so helpful. And I'm going to tell you this star thing I wrote down in the gap is really going to help me. Because that star thing I always struggle with. They will tell me about something, your situation, task, action, and ND. Thank you so much.
No. And to be able to provide, it's one thing to say it, but it's a whole nother thing to actually walk someone through that example. Because then as I'm walking through the example, and you're like, that's it? Oh, I can do. No, I'm serious. You listening to me? You're like, that's it?
Yeah, because I had no, and I didn't have any idea that's what they were doing. But now I know. Now I can kind of tackle it better.
See, there you go. There you go. Like I said, y'all, we do this thing together. We are not doing this thing by ourselves. We are not. And that was my. Because Erica told me, she said, Deon, I don't know who's going to attend, how many it'll be. I said, whoever God sends is who it is.
And I was up 3:30 in the morning when I filled out that form. Because that thunder woke me up. I said, I forgot to, because I was going to do it that day, yesterday.
Well, I'm glad you came. I'm really glad you came.
It ain't too late to fill it out.
No.
She can't kick me out if I filled it out.
No.
Yeah, and I filled, I think, mine out yesterday in the afternoon because I was like, should I go, should I not go? I'm not really committed yet until next year, but at least, and I'm glad I came, I really am. Because, you know, what was going on 30 years ago is now a little bit different.
Yeah.
And you're opening our minds.
You can open it. Yeah, you just open. You just open. You know, like I said, you go back to that question, what do you want to be when you grow up? And you go back and you stand on that belief.
So I'm very glad I came because, you know, I'm taking information back home that I can study, I can practice, so that when I do in the spring, you know, decide to, you know, look, I am prepared.
Yeah, that's it. I'm excited.
I am too. I am really.
I'm excited. I don't even know what time it is. What time?
It's 1 o'clock.
I came with y'all today. I came with y'all.
Deon, you know, I really appreciate you.
I could not with y'all. I've just enjoyed this session. I thank you guys. I thank you for allowing me an opportunity just to come share with you.
Yes.
You know, and to really, hopefully, grab you by your hand and help you to open up the door that's coming.
Yes.
You've done that.
Yeah.
You did it really well.
Yeah.